is an oddly suspicious company. A company that started on the ZX Spectrum before putting in work under the trash rainbow of LJN by making crappy license games, you never would have expected them to work with Nintendo on any projects, let alone rival them in the quality of their games. Despite that, this is what Rare did when they released their Donkey Kong Country games back on the Super Nintendo. Of course, they weren't done quite yet. Not content with only being successful in the 2D platforming space with Donkey Kong Country, the fighting game space with Killer Instinct, or even the first-person shooter space with GoldenEye 007, they set their eyes on Nintendo's newfound home territory, 3D platforming. Banjo-Kazooie was Rare's take on the gameplay style and structure Nintendo created with their groundbreaking Super Mario 64, as they sought out to prove that they were just as much a master of Nintendo's hardware and style as Nintendo was themselves, as well as continue to push their furry agenda. Of course, this was destined to end in success thanks to the skill they have proven throughout the years at this point, but were they able to actually pull it off? Back in the day, everyone and their furries were doing 2D platformers, with plenty of them pulling it off, but a 3D platformer is much different. And not just any style of 3D platformer, they could have gone the Crash Bandicoot route and made a 2D platformer in 3D, but instead they went right for the big one. So will this be worth the risk? Much like Donkey before him, was Banjo able to impress Miyamoto and prove that bears can be jumping stars as well? Or should he and Kazooie have just stayed in and hibernated, letting Mario hog the 3D spotlight? As expected of a platformer from any generation, Banjo-Kazooie is fairly light in story. You see, there's this bear and this bird, Banjo-Kazooie, and they stupidly live under this witch's lair in Spiral Mountain, owned by the magnificent and graceful Gruntilda. Banjo has a sister, Tooty, and the witch's cauldron claims that Tooty is the prettiest in the land, and not Gruntilda like she was expecting. Outraged, Grunty wobbles down her stairs and onto her broom, prepared to take matters into her own hands. Tooty is kidnapped and shoved into a machine to steal her beauty, and it is up to her unfazed and dense brother along with her brother's feathered girlfriend to save the day. And her. You meet some more dumb idiots along the way that either don't have a care in the world or are suffering with a smile on their face. It's as whimsical as a world can legally be without being a crime against common sense. It's incredibly charming, however, and you'll be sad to be done with the characters and worlds you'll experience. Now, the world this charmingly evil witch inhabits is as warm and lovable as they come in these kinds of games. Gruntilda's Tower is the main hub of the game, and it holds various worlds for you to platform about. The tower itself also has some platforming goodness locked away inside, and both the tower and the worlds are incredibly well designed, bright, and colorful, making it fun to jump around and collect things. That being said, there are plenty of things to collect and enough enemies for you to put your paw to, and the game goes out of its way to make it as satisfying as possible at all times. Jumping is floaty and precise, allowing for some tricky bouts of platforming, and the worlds are not only designed in a horizontal manner, but also vertically, making as much use of the 3D space as possible. As you explore and endure intense verbal beatdowns from the rhyming Gruntilda, you'll be looking for music notes, resources such as eggs, feathers, and mumbo tokens, more on those later, and the all-important jiggies, which are golden puzzle pieces, in order to complete the challenges ahead and progress through the tower. The glorious jiggies are used to complete puzzles mounted on the wall and open new worlds, while the music notes are used to open up locked doors in the lair. The amount of notes and jiggies needed increase as you progress, and each world has 10 jiggies and 100 music notes to collect, though you won't need them all if your goal is just to complete the game. Overall, the worlds are charming, expertly designed, and a joy to explore. Banjo-Kazooie is a game that truly stands out among its peers in the genre, even within the, at the time, limited 3D platformer genre. No, it's not the colorful worlds, that's par for the course. No, it's not the furry protagonist, those are a dime a dozen in the genre. What makes this game truly stand out is Bottles the Mole. Yes, this short-sighted dweeb is what makes the game stand out, as he teaches the dynamic duo new moves as they find him in the stages. These moves range from new attacks, new ways to jump, and entirely new traversal options. These not only make the exploring more varied and fun, they also offer an incredibly refreshing take on progression. Instead of starting with it all, you work your way up, as do the challenges. These moves elevate Banjo-Kazooie from run-of-the-mill Persona platformer into a platforming legend. Added onto this are transformations, activated by using Mumbo tokens with Mumbo the Shaman, that give Banjo temporary new abilities which add even more to the variety. Even without the moves and transformations, the game would still be damn good as the level design and structure is that good, but Rare had to go the extra mile. Can't let Miyamoto have anything negative to say about this Baron Bird. Minstrels will write ballads about this shit for the rest of time. I already called the bear in the shorts and the bird in the bag a platforming legend. What more can I say? Oh yeah, how about the fact that the game looks incredible for a Nintendo 64 game? The Nintendo 64 is a console well known for big horrible blobs and blocks with muddy textures, but Banjo-Kazooie makes this console look good. Banjo and Kazooie are way more defined than most protagonists at the time, and they have a good range of expressions and animations. They actually feel like characters instead of just player avatars, and they feel at home in the very attractive worlds Rare created. The various environments look great as well, as do the enemies and idiots you meet along the way. This game aged supremely well for a Nintendo 64 game. Now, the visuals are all well and good, but the real star in regards to the presentation is the music. The music is fantastic, legendary even, and really put Grant Kirkhope, maybe more known for his work in Mario + Rabbids now, on the map. Each world has its own bubbly and warm tune, and some of them change seamlessly without dropping a beat when approaching specific places. For example, when in the Witch's Tower, if you approach a level entrance, the music will dynamically change to reflect the zone, all without dropping the melody. This was incredibly impressive at the time and is still an amazing thing to experience. The music is incredible and will remain with me for the rest of my days. I should have mentioned it earlier, but the only real negative thing I have to say about this game is that the camera can suck a big one at times. Of course, I don't hold it against the game, as this was a problem with games in general at the time. It's why most didn't let you actually control it. Here, the camera is quite serviceable, with only a few instances of it being bad. The only other thing one might have a problem with is that the game is quite easy, even with said camera. There's only one world I would call difficult, and that is only in one instance, and only because it's an instant death if you get hit, which is very easy to do. Other than that, the game is quite challengeless, as the game is more of an adventure, with bottomless pits being extremely rare, unlike Mario 64. It's also quite stable for a Nintendo 64 game, with only a few instances of frame drops, and, due to the game's lower speed in general, this isn't really an issue. While not perfect, I mean, what game truly is, it's fairly clean. I don't know if you can tell from this review, but I adore Banjo-Kazooie. It's still one of the best designed 3D collectathons out there, and its music is stored among legends. The varied worlds, fun world themes, enjoyable exploration, and satisfying platforming just complement its amazing charm and joyful personality. Gruntilda may be pretty ugly in personality, habit, and hygiene. I can't judge, I'm no Link or Captain Falcon myself, but the game she terrorized is every bit as charming and beautiful now as it was back then. Rare's game design and genius of adding Bottle's moves change what would be a fun, serviceable but plain platformer into the legend it grew up to be. It may be crazy to think, but Rare really brought the video game A game back then. With that being said, a little wonky camera and easy experience isn't going to stop me from awarding my favorite Baron Bird the golden 10 out of 10. Do your completion dance, folks, you earned it. Now if only you'd come back and not a car game.